Have you ever watched someone hold a masterpiece in their hands, only to toss it aside like it was nothing? Have you ever seen someone treat something rare, something irreplaceable, like it was ordinary? That is exactly what happened when he took you for granted. He thought he could come and go as he pleased. He believed your love would always be there, no matter how little he gave, no matter how much he neglected you. But now it's time to shut him down and make him realize your worth. Plato once said, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." But what happens when a man is given something extraordinary and still fails to see its value? He had the kind of love people spend lifetimes searching for. He had someone who gave, who cared, who stayed, even when he didn't deserve it. But instead of cherishing it, he played with it. Instead of protecting it, he tested its limits. And now he is about to learn the hardest lesson of all. Love is not a guarantee, and when it is gone forever. Right now, he thinks he still has control. He assumes that no matter how distant he becomes, no matter how many times he chooses everything else over you, you will still be there, waiting. He believes that if he calls, you will answer. If he ignores you today, he can win you back tomorrow. He thinks he can leave you in the dark, only to return whenever he feels like it, expecting your light to still shine for him. But what he does not see, what he will soon realize, is that love, like a flame, must be tended. And when it is neglected for too long, it does not burn forever. It dies. Imagine a man standing under the sun every day. At first he is grateful. He basks in its warmth, enjoys its glow. But over time, he stops noticing. He stops looking up. He forgets how much he needs it. He takes it for granted, believing it will always be there. But then, one day, the sun no longer shines for him. The warmth disappears. The sky turns cold. And suddenly, he realizes he never truly understood its value until it was gone. That is exactly what will happen when you finally step back. When you stop proving, stop begging, stop waiting. When you shut him down and walk away, he will feel the difference. And no matter where he looks, no matter how many times he tries to replace what he lost, he will never find another you. He thought you would always be an option, something he could pick up whenever he pleased. But what he failed to see is that you were never just another choice. You were the prize. The kind of woman who does not beg for love. The kind of woman who does not settle for breadcrumbs of attention. And now it's time to show him what happens when he treats a queen like she is ordinary. Because here's the truth. He expected you to chase. He expected you to fight for him, to prove yourself, to stay no matter how much he pushed you away. But that is where he was wrong. You are done explaining your worth to someone who should have seen it from the beginning. You are done settling for a love that does not honor you. You are done being someone's afterthought when you were always meant to be the main event. Right now, he may not see it. Right now, he may still believe he has the upper hand. But in time, he will feel it. He will feel the silence where your voice used to be. He will feel the absence where your love used to exist. He will see your glow, your strength, your power, and it will hit him harder than any words ever could. Because this is not about anger. This is not about revenge. This is about self-respect. It is about standing so firmly in your worth that he has no choice but to recognize what he lost. And once he does, once he finally wakes up and sees that you are no longer his to take for granted, that is the moment his punishment begins, not through words, not through tears, but through something far more powerful, your absence. This is your moment to take back everything and more. You are not someone to be forgotten. You are not someone to be put on hold. You are the kind of woman who deserves more, who demands more, who refuses to settle for less than everything. And from this moment forward, you will carry yourself like the queen you are. Because queens do not chase. Queens do not wait. Queens reign. He thought he could play with your heart like it was a game. Now, let him learn that you were never the one to gamble with. Let him sit in the silence. Let him feel the weight of his own choices. Let him realize that when a queen walks away, she never looks back. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I am done waiting, done proving, done settling. My worth is not up for debate. Let the world know that from this moment on, you are stepping into your power, owning your strength, and never again allowing someone to treat you like anything less than the queen you were born to be. And if this message lit a fire inside you, if it reminded you of who you truly are, like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we are here to remind you, your worth was never his to define. It was always yours to claim. And now, it's time to shut him down and rise. Number 1. He took you for granted. Like air, now let him gasp for breath without you. Have you ever seen a man take something so essential, so life-giving, and treat it like it was nothing? Have you ever watched him assume that no matter what he did, no matter how little he gave, you would always be there, like the air he breathes? He never stops to appreciate it, never stops to think about it. It's just there, constant, invisible, unnoticed, until one day it's gone. And then he gasps for breath, desperate for the very thing he ignored. That is exactly what happens when a man takes your love for granted. He assumes you will always be there until you're not. And when he realizes what he lost, it will be too late. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What is left unsaid eventually becomes the loudest thing of all." And that is exactly how you will make him realize your worth, not through words, not through anger, not through explanations, but through your absence. He thought he could treat you like an option, like something ordinary, like a love that would always wait for him. But now, let him feel what it's like to live without your presence, without your love, without the warmth that he assumed was his forever. Right now, he believes he has time. He believes that no matter how many times he walks away, you will always be there, waiting, hoping, believing in his potential. He thinks he can come back when it's convenient, say a few words, and everything will return to how it was. But he does not see what's coming. Because the moment you decide to take back your power, the moment you stop giving freely to a man who does not appreciate you, everything changes. And when that change happens, he will feel it like a man drowning, reaching out for air, but finding nothing. Imagine a man standing in a vast desert. He had an endless supply of water, pure and refreshing, right in front of him. But he never cared to drink it, never valued it, never realized how much he needed it. He let it sit there, untouched, unappreciated, believing it would always be available. But then, one day, it was gone. The sun beats down, the heat rises, and suddenly he is desperate. His throat burns, his lips crack, and he searches frantically for what he once ignored. But by the time he realizes his mistake, the water is gone, and all he is left with is regret. That is exactly what will happen when he wakes up one day and realizes that the love he once took for granted no longer belongs to him. He thought you would always be the one to reach out, to fix things, to make excuses for his neglect. He thought no matter how he treated you, you would still be there, forgiving, waiting, hoping. But that version of you no longer exists. The woman who once gave everything without question, who sacrificed, who settled, who lowered her standards just to be seen. She is gone, and in her place stands a woman who knows her worth, who refuses to be an afterthought, who no longer gives her heart to a man who never earned it. You are no longer his heir. You are no longer the source of his comfort. You are no longer the woman who stays in the background, waiting to be chosen, because now you choose yourself. And when he finally realizes what he lost, when he finally understands that no other woman will ever match the depth of your love, the strength of your presence, the power of your loyalty, he will feel the emptiness in a way he never expected. Queens, hear this. This is not about revenge. This is not about making him suffer. This is about showing yourself that you were never meant to be taken for granted. You were never meant to be an afterthought. You were never meant to be the air he breathes without appreciation. You are the storm that cannot be contained. You are the fire that refuses to burn for a man who let it die. You are the rarest thing he ever had. And now, let him live with the reality that he lost it forever. Let him feel the silence where your laughter used to be. Let him notice the absence of your warmth. Let him search for you in others, only to realize that no one will ever be you. Let him live in the regret of knowing that he had something priceless, but he was too blind to see it. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. He took me for granted like air. Now let him gasp for breath without me. Let the world know that from this moment forward, you are done settling, done waiting, done proving. Your worth is not up for debate. Your love is not a convenience. You are not replaceable. And if this message reminded you of the power that has always been inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because we are here to remind you, your worth was never his to define. It was always yours to claim. And now, it's time to shut him down and rise. Number 2. He thought he could put you on hold. Now, let him hear the silence. Have you ever seen a man put something precious on a shelf, assuming he could return to it whenever he pleased? He touches it when he's in the mood, admires it when he feels like it, but most of the time, it just sits there, waiting, unnoticed. That is exactly how he treated you. He thought you would always be there, waiting in the background, ready to pick up where he left off. He believed he could put you on hold, press pause on your love, disappear when it suited him, and come back when he was ready. But now, it's time to shut him down. Now, let him hear the silence. Rumi once said, "Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure." And that is exactly what is happening now. The pain of being overlooked, the pain of waiting, the pain of being treated like an afterthought, it is no longer something that holds you down. It is the very thing that will set you free. Because the truth is, he never thought you would leave. He never imagined a world where you wouldn't be there when he decided to notice you again. But that world is now his reality. And in the deafening silence of your absence, he will finally realize what he lost. Right now, he might still think he has time. He might believe he can ignore you today and come back tomorrow, as if your love is some unbreakable thread that will never snap. But love is not a lifeline for a man who refuses to hold on. And now, that thread has been cut. No calls, no messages, no pleading, no explanations, just silence. And that is the loudest sound he will ever hear. Imagine a musician who plays a beautiful melody every day, but after a while he stops listening. He assumes the music will always be there, playing in the background, even if he never truly appreciates it. But one day, the music stops. The room goes silent. He tries to turn it back on, tries to hear what he took for granted, but it's gone. And in that silence, he realizes just how much he needed that melody, how much he depended on it, how much he foolishly ignored. That is what is happening now. He assumed your love was background noise, constant, unchanging, always there. But now he must live without the song of your love. Now he must sit in the quiet and feel what it means to lose something he thought he would always have. He expected you to wait. He thought you would chase. He thought you would fight to be seen, to be heard, to be chosen. But no more. You are done proving your worth to a man who was too blind to see it. You are done trying to convince him that you are special, because the truth is, he should have known from the start. And now, as you step away, as you reclaim your power, as you refuse to be an option in his life, he will feel the shift. He will feel the loss. He will feel the weight of your silence in ways he never expected. This is the moment where everything changes. This is the moment where you stop waiting, stop hoping, stop giving chances to a man who never deserved them. This is where you rise, not for him, but for yourself. Because queens do not wait for men to notice their worth. Queens do not chase love that should have been given freely. Queens reign with or without him. And when he finally realizes what he lost, when he reaches for you and finds nothing but empty space, let him sit with it. Let him hear the silence. Let him understand that his biggest mistake was believing you would always be there. Because now you are not just gone, you are untouchable. And the regret he feels, that is his burden to carry, not yours. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. My silence speaks louder than his presence ever could. Let the world know that from this moment forward, you are done waiting, done proving, done hoping. You are stepping into your power, and you are never looking back. And if this message awakened something inside you, if it reminded you of the strength you have always had, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, the lessons, and the fire that will set you free. Because your worth was never meant to be questioned. It was always meant to be honored. And now it's time to shut him down and rise. Number 3. He handled your heart like a toy. Now let him feel what it's like to be played. Have you ever watched a child play with a toy, fascinated at first, but then tossing it aside the moment something new catches his eye? At first, he holds it tightly, excited, convinced it's the best thing he's ever had. But then, little by little, the excitement fades. He stops caring, stops appreciating, and before long, he forgets it was ever special at all. That is exactly what happened when he handled your heart like a toy. He played with it, tested its limits, took what he wanted, then left it behind when he got bored. But now it's time for him to feel what it's like to be played. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And his thoughts were selfish. He believed love was something to be used for his pleasure, something to be taken and discarded when convenient. He thought you would always be there, waiting, hoping, desperate for another moment of his attention. But he made one fatal mistake. He forgot that love is not a game, and you are not a toy. Right now, he walks through life with confidence, believing he still holds all the power. He thinks that if he calls, you will answer. If he returns, you will welcome him back. He assumes that no matter what he did, no matter how reckless, no matter how careless, he still has control over your heart. But what he does not know, what he is about to learn, is that his time is up. His turn is over, and now he will feel what it's like to be discarded, forgotten, and left behind. Imagine a gambler sitting at a table, rolling the dice again and again, convinced that no matter how much he risks, the game will always go in his favor. He plays recklessly, thinking he can lose and win back whatever he wants. But then, one moment changes everything. He places one last bet, thinking he is still in control, and suddenly he loses everything. That is exactly what is about to happen to him. He gambled with your love, played with your heart, and tested your patience, thinking he would always have another chance. But now, he is out of chances. Now, he is the one left with empty hands, watching as everything he once had slips away. He thought he had you figured out. He thought you were predictable, that you would keep waiting, keep hoping, keep trying. But now, it's time for him to see the truth. You are not waiting anymore. You are not hoping anymore. You are done proving your worth to a man who should have seen it from the beginning. And the moment you decide to step into your power, the moment you refuse to be part of his game any longer, is the moment he will finally feel the loss. And when that realization hits, it will hit harder than anything he has ever felt. He will try to reach out, try to find a way back in, try to convince himself that he can still win you over, but he will find nothing but silence, nothing but distance, nothing but the truth that he lost the only woman who truly loved him, and there is no way to undo the damage he caused. Because love is not a game. It is not something to be used, tested, and discarded when convenient. Love is a gift, a force, a fire that burns only for those who know how to keep it alive. And now that fire no longer burns for him. This is the moment where everything changes. This is where you stop waiting for him to realize your worth and start living in the truth of who you are. You are not a toy. You are not an afterthought. You are not something to be picked up and put down whenever he pleases. You are a woman who deserves to be cherished, valued, and honored. And from this moment forward, you will never again settle for less than that. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I am not a toy. I am the prize he can never win again. Let the world know that from this moment on, you are stepping into your power, owning your worth, and never again allowing anyone to treat you like anything less than the queen you were born to be. And if this message reminded you of the strength that has always been inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, the lessons, and the fire that will set you free. Because queens do not beg, queens do not wait, queens reign. And now, it's your time. Number 4. He ignored you like background music. Now let him live without the sound of your love. Have you ever walked into a room with music playing in the background, soft, steady, familiar? At first you notice it. Maybe you even hum along. But over time, it fades into the noise. You stop hearing it. You stop appreciating it. It just becomes something that's there. And that is exactly how he treated you. Like background music, always playing, always there, always available. But now it's time to turn off the music and let him live in the silence he never thought he'd have to face. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." And what does that say about a man who let something extraordinary fade into the background? He had a love that was rare, a presence that brought warmth, a woman who gave without hesitation. But instead of cherishing it, instead of making sure he never lost it, he tuned it out. He assumed it would never stop playing, that no matter how little he listened, it would always be there. But now Now he is about to learn that nothing is promised, and when love is ignored for too long, it does not wait. It leaves. Right now, he may still think he has time. He believes he can come back whenever he pleases, press play again, and everything will go back to how it was. He thinks that if he says the right words, if he offers small gestures, the music will return like it never stopped. But what he doesn't realize, what he is about to understand the hard way, is that silence is not just the absence of sound. Silence is a lesson, and he is about to hear it loud and clear. Imagine a man who walks through a grand hall filled with music, so beautiful it moves the soul. At first, he is captivated. He stands still, listening, feeling, and appreciating. But then, with time, he stops noticing. He walks through without pausing, without gratitude, without a second thought. He becomes careless, believing that the music will always be there, playing just for him. And then, one day, the music stops. The hall is empty. The sound is gone. He looks around, desperate to hear it again, but it is too late. The moment has passed. The beauty he once ignored is no longer his to enjoy. That is exactly what is about to happen to him. He will wake up one day expecting to hear your love, your patience, your kindness still playing in his life. But instead, all he will find is silence, and that silence will be deafening. He will wonder where you went, why the warmth is gone, why his world suddenly feels colder, emptier, and lonelier. And no matter how many times he tries to turn the music back on, no matter how many times he reaches for what he lost, it will not return for him. Because love is not a background track to a man's life. Love is not something to be played only when it is convenient. Love is something that must be held close, nurtured, and respected. And when it is not, it disappears forever. This is your moment to take back everything and more. You are not background noise. You are not something to be overlooked, ignored, or taken for granted. You are the masterpiece, the rare symphony that only a worthy man will ever get to hear again. And the most powerful thing you can do right now, step back. Let the silence do the talking. Let him feel the loss. Let him understand that the music he once took for granted is no longer his to claim. And as he sits in the quiet, as he replays memories of your love, as he finally realizes what he let slip through his fingers, you will be far beyond his reach, rising, thriving, shining in a way he never saw coming. Because queens do not play in the background. Queens reign in the spotlight. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. He ignored my love. Now let him live without its sound. Let the world know that you are done being overlooked, done being taken for granted, done waiting for a man to realize your worth. And if this message reminded you of the power that has always been inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we are here, working hard to bring you the truth, the fire, and the lessons that will set you free. This is your time. Step into your power, embrace your worth, and never again let anyone treat you like background noise. You were meant to be heard. Number 5. He assumed you would always be his safe place. Now let him face the storm alone. Have you ever noticed how a man only values something when he loses it? How he assumes that no matter what he does, no matter how he treats you, you will always be there. He believed your love was a shelter, a place he could return to when life became hard, when he needed comfort, when the world turned cold. He thought he could walk in and out of your heart as he pleased, never worrying about the damage he left behind. But now it's time to shut him down. It's time to show him that love is not a safety net for a man who never learned how to hold it with care. Let him step into the storm of his own choices, and feel what it's like to face it alone. Rumi once said, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life shape you into the person you were meant to be." And that is exactly what this moment is about. Change. No more waiting, no more hoping, no more believing in a man who only remembers your worth when he's at his weakest. He thought you would always be his safe place, always be the one to pick up the pieces, and always be there when he finally decided to show up. But love is not a shelter for the undeserving. And now the doors are closed. Imagine a man who owns a house filled with warmth, light, and love. Every time he enters, he is welcomed. Every time he needs comfort, it is there for him. But he does not take care of it. He leaves the windows open, lets the rain in, ignores the cracks forming in the walls. He does not protect it, does not cherish it. He simply assumes it will stand strong forever. But then, one day, when the storm comes, he rushes back, only to find the house is gone. He never thought it could disappear, never believed it would crumble, never imagined that the warmth he took for granted would vanish into nothing. And now he stands in the cold, looking for something that no longer exists for him. That is exactly what happens when a man takes a woman's love for granted. He assumes she will always be there, always ready to catch him, always willing to forgive. But when she finally walks away, when she finally realizes that she's worth more, he's left with nothing but regret. Let him feel the cold. Let him stand in the storm alone. Let him see what it means to lose a love that could have been his forever, if only he had valued it when he had the chance. He thought he had time. He thought no matter how much he neglected you, no matter how much he ignored your needs, and you would always be waiting. But now he will know what it means to miss something that can never be replaced. He will look for you in other people, in other places, in empty nights filled with memories of what used to be. But all he will find is the echo of his own mistakes. This is where everything changes, because now you are done being his safe place. You are done giving your love to a man who only sees your worth when he is desperate. Now you step into your power. Now you become untouchable. Because a woman who knows her worth does not settle for being a man's backup plan. She does not stay in a place where she is only valued when it is convenient for him. She does not allow herself to be an option. She becomes the only choice, one he can no longer have. Queens, this is your moment. This is the time to rise, to reclaim everything that was always yours. You are not his home, not his shelter, not his safe place to return to when the world turns dark. You are the storm, the force of nature that cannot be contained. He thought you would always be there. Now, let him stand alone in the reality of his own choices. Write this in the comments and claim it. I was his safe place. Now I am the storm he cannot escape. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done proving, done holding a door open for a man who never knew how to walk through it with respect. And if this message reminded you of your worth, if it lit a fire inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, the power, and the lessons that will set you free. Because queens do not wait to be chosen. Queens reign. And now, it's your time. Number 6. He laughed. When you begged for his time, now let him cry when you no longer have a second for him. Have you ever watched someone shrug off something priceless, laughing as if it meant nothing, only to realize later it was the one thing they could never replace? Have you ever begged for time, for love, for effort, only to be met with smirks, excuses, and indifference. He thought your patience had no limit. He assumed no matter how much he ignored you, no matter how little time he gave, you would always be there, waiting for the moment he finally decided to pay attention. But now the moment he thought would never come has arrived. Now you are no longer waiting. Now he is the one begging, and all he is left with is the deafening silence of his own choices. Leonardo da Vinci once said, "Time stays long enough for those who use it," but he wasted it. He wasted every second you spent waiting for him to care, every moment you spent proving your love, every ounce of patience you poured into a man who treated your time like it was disposable. He laughed when you begged for his presence, acted as if your emotions were an inconvenience, dismissed your longing for connection as if it was foolish. But now, let him feel the weight of regret. Let him sit in the emptiness where your presence used to be. Let him understand that time is not a gift, it is a privilege, and he lost his. Imagine a man standing in front of an hourglass, watching the sand slip through his fingers. At first, he doesn't care. He believes he has plenty left, that he can waste it however he pleases. He plays, he delays, he looks away, and thinking there will always be more. But then, one day, he looks down and realizes the last grain has fallen. The time is up. The hourglass is empty. And no matter how much he shakes it, no matter how much he begs for just one more moment, there is nothing left to give. That is exactly what is happening now. He thought your time, your love, your presence would always be available. But now he is staring at the empty space where you used to be, desperate to turn back time, knowing he never can. He thought he was in control. He thought he had the power, that you would always be an option, that your love was something he could put on hold and pick up later. But now the power has shifted. Now you have shut him down. Now he is the one chasing, the one regretting, the one crying over what he lost. He will call, but the phone will stay silent. He will reach out, but his messages will go unanswered. He will want just one more second, just one more chance. But the door is closed. And that is the kind of pain no words could ever fix. Because this is not about revenge. This is not about making him suffer. This is about respect. This is about recognizing that you were never meant to beg for love. You were never meant to sit in the shadows, waiting for a man to decide you were worth his time. You are done proving yourself. You are done explaining your worth. You are done waiting for a love that should have been given freely. Queens, this is your moment. Look in the mirror and see the unstoppable force staring back. You are not broken. You are not defeated. You are rising. Because a woman who learns her worth does not look back. A woman who values herself does not give second chances to a man who laughed at her pain. And now you are stepping into your power, not to prove anything to him, but to claim everything for yourself. He doubted you. Now make sure he never forgets what you've become. Let him sit with his regrets. Let him cry over what he lost. Let him finally understand that you were never his to waste, because your time is no longer his to take for granted. It belongs to you now. And that is the most powerful thing of all. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I no longer beg for time. I am the one who decides who is worth it. Let the world know that from this moment forward, you are done waiting, done explaining, done settling for less than you deserve. And if this message lit a fire inside you, if it reminded you of the power you have always had, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here to remind you, Your worth was never his to define. It was always yours to claim. And now? Now, it's time to rise. Number 7. He thought you would chase. Now let him run after the ghost of what he lost. Have you ever watched a man walk away with a smirk, believing you would chase after him? Have you ever seen someone act so confident, so sure, that no matter what he did, you would still be there, waiting, hoping, fighting for his love? That's exactly what he thought. He thought he could turn his back, disappear, and return whenever he pleased, because in his mind, you were always going to follow. But now, let him run after the ghost of what he lost. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." And what does that say about a man who never fought to keep you? He thought he was the prize. He thought he could ignore you, neglect you, take you for granted, and still have you at his feet, chasing after a love that was never fully given. But love does not work that way. Respect does not work that way. And you were never meant to be in the shadows, running after someone who never truly saw your worth. Right now, he thinks he has control. He believes that even if he walks away, even if he pulls back, you will chase him, just like you did before. He's waiting for the text, the call, the desperate attempt to make him see what he's losing. But this time, it's different. This time, there is no chasing, there is no proving. There is only silence, distance, and the crushing realization that he is the one who let go of something he will never find again. Imagine a man standing at the edge of a cliff, dropping a diamond into the ocean, convinced that he can always get it back. He watches it fall, assuming it will still be there when he's ready to dive in. But by the time he reaches for it, it is too late. The waves have swallowed it whole, and now, no matter how hard he searches, no matter how deep he dives, it is gone forever. That is exactly what he is about to feel when he realizes that you're no longer where he left you. For too long, he made you believe that if you just loved harder, gave more, stayed longer, he would finally see your worth. But the truth is, a man who does not recognize the value of gold when it's in his hands does not deserve another chance to hold it. He assumed you would always be within reach, but now let him reach out and grasp at nothing. Let him chase a memory. Let him run after a love that has moved beyond him. Let him regret every step he took away from you. Because queens, this is where everything changes. This is where you stop running after what was never meant for you. This is where you rise, not because you want revenge, not because you want him to notice, but because you finally see what he never did. You were never meant to chase. You were never meant to beg. You were never meant to settle for half love and empty promises. You were meant to be adored, cherished, chosen, not as an option but as the only choice. He thought you would always be there, waiting in the background, hoping for his attention. Now, let him feel what it's like to be the one waiting. Let him sit in the silence. Let him wonder why you are not running after him like before. Let him feel the panic set in when he realizes that he is chasing a ghost, a version of you that no longer exists. Because you are no longer the woman who waits. You are no longer the woman who needs to be chosen. You are the woman who chooses herself, who walks forward without looking back, who understands that the right man will never make her feel like she has to chase love. And when he finally wakes up, when he finally understands what he lost, he will have to live with the pain of knowing that the one person who would have given him everything is now the one thing he can never have again. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I do not chase. I am the prize. Let the world know that you are done running, done proving, done waiting. And if this message reminded you of your power, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here to remind you, your worth was never his to define. It was always yours to claim. And now, it's time to shut him down and rise. Number 8. He gambled with your love like a fool. Now let him watch someone else win what he lost. Have you ever watched a man hold something priceless in his hands and treat it like it was nothing? He thought he had all the time in the world. He thought he could play the game, take risks, push his luck, because he believed he would never lose. But love is not a casino, and you are not a bet. He gambled with your heart like a fool, and now the game is over. The chips are gone, the cards are played, and the only thing left for him is regret. Rumi once said, "When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other don't make any sense." And now he will struggle for words when he sees what he lost. He thought he could test your patience, take without giving, and still come back when it suited him. But the moment you walk away, the moment you stop playing his game, he will realize that he wasn't the one in control. You were. Right now, he thinks he can still win you back. He assumes you will always be there, waiting, hoping and believing in his potential. He tells himself that no matter how many times he walked away, you will still be standing in the same place, ready to take him back. But he doesn't see the truth yet. Your love was never something to be played with. It was not a gamble. It was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. And now, let him stand on the sidelines and watch as someone else cherishes what he carelessly tossed aside. Imagine a man standing in front of a golden chest filled with rare treasures. He opens it, looks inside, but instead of holding onto it, he turns away, thinking he will find something better. But when he returns, the chest is gone. The treasure is no longer his to claim, and all he can do is stand there, empty-handed, realizing that he made the biggest mistake of his life. That is exactly what will happen when he sees you moving on, glowing, living your best life with someone who truly sees your worth. He thought he had options. He thought he had control. But now, let him see that love is not a game where he can fold and re-enter whenever he wants. Let him watch as another man steps up, one who doesn't play with love, one who knows exactly what he has when he has it. And the worst part, he will know that he had the first chance. He had the opportunity to love you the way you deserved. But he played, and he lost. And in life, some losses are permanent. This is where the shift happens. This is where you stop waiting, stop proving, stop giving your heart to a man who never knew how to hold it. Because you are not a second choice. You are not a gamble. You are the kind of woman who deserves a love that is certain, unwavering, and strong. And now you are stepping into that truth. He will regret this. He will replay every memory, every moment you stood by him, every time you forgave him, every time you gave him another chance. He will remember your love, your loyalty, your kindness, and it will hit him like a storm. But by then, it will be too late. You are no longer the woman he took for granted. You have risen. You have grown. And now you are standing in your power, untouchable, undeniable, and unstoppable. Queens, hear this. You were never a game to be played. You were the prize, the jackpot, the ultimate win. And now, let him watch from the sidelines as someone else holds what he will never get back. Let him sit with the weight of his own choices. Let him drown in the regret of losing something that will never again be his. Write this in the comments and claim it. He gambled with my love. Now he has lost everything. Let the world know that you are done being taken for granted, done waiting, done proving. And if this message reminded you of your strength, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you life-changing lessons, because you were never meant to be an option. You were meant to reign. And now it's time to step into your power.